President Barack Obama opens his stretch drive for a health care overhaul with a high-stakes speech to Congress and the nation tonight. Press Secretary Robert Gibbs is promising new specifics in tonight's speech, but says the president also remains flexible in pursuit of his goal of more affordable and reliable health coverage. Obama's plan for overhauling the nation's health care system is stalled in Congress, largely due to a disagreement over a government-run insurance option that would compete with private insurers. And joining us now, we thought tonight we'd talk to a Valley doctor about health reform. And joining us now is Dr. Michael Siptak, a family physician with Harrisonburg Family Practice. Dr. Siptak, thanks for joining us.
Oh, thank you, Bob, for having me.
Now, it does seem like a big point of contention right now is over the government-run insurance option or the public option. Now, in your view, is the public option, coming from a physician's standpoint, a good idea?
You know, I really don't think so, Bob. My biggest concern is, having interacted now with Medicare, Medicaid, and especially the VA system, I just don't see that the government has run any of their current programs well. So why they would want to get so deeply involved with private insurance and health care is a little beyond me at this point.
Okay. Now, going to the larger question of Obama's goal, which specifically, as we mentioned earlier, is more affordable and reliable health coverage. Sounds like a good idea, right?
It sounds like a great idea, and I think we'd all be in favor of that. Again, I think some of the mistrust, at least from my standpoint, is the actions so far seem to be much more wide-sweeping in terms of what he's trying to accomplish than simply providing more affordable health care. In other words, why does the government need to be so deeply involved in individual health care in order to make it affordable to the general public?
Well, I guess if I was on the president's staff, I would, counter with, well, shouldn't everybody have health insurance coverage? Is that a laudable goal? Because we keep hearing numbers about 45 million people in the country don't have insurance.
I think that it's very difficult when you pose a question like that. In other words, I think everyone should have housing. I think everybody should have food every night. But I more importantly believe in America where I believe that people should be able to spend their money as they see fit. So if health insurance is a priority for people, yes, I think they should be able to afford it. But if they choose to not participate in health insurance because of their age or demographics that they don't feel it's a good investment at that time, then I think they should be allowed to put their money into something that may be more important to them, such as food or housing or automobiles.
What do you see as the biggest problem with health care?
For me personally, I think the biggest problem with health care is that the current system does not have as its focus where I think the cost control should be. In other words, the patient and the doctor do not really set the costs of an office visit. And because of the way insurance is done, in other words, it's a prepaid system, it doesn't force the patient to basically negotiate with me to control costs, and it also doesn't encourage me, because of the current legal system, to try to control costs when I know that I have the threat of being sued if I choose not to order a test, perhaps properly, but a patient turns out needed it later. I can't call as my defense I was trying to save costs. So I am almost encouraged by the current system to overprescribe or over-order tests in order to protect myself, for lack of a better way of putting it.
Congressman Goodlatte sees the public option. He's against it. He sees it as a slippery slope to the government taking over health care. Do you see that danger? What are the dangers you see with this?
I don't see how it couldn't be. In other words, no matter what the president proposes, I imagine we'll get a scaled-back version tonight. I don't see, once the government has its foot in the door and is offering any sort of plan, that regular insurance plans could ever hope to compete with it. In other words, the government can go eternally into debt, as we're seeing, and I don't see how it wouldn't eventually take over.
All right. Dr. Michael Siptak with the Harrisonburg Family Practice, thanks for sharing your thoughts on health care.